Hi and welcome to my video submission for real-time rendering assignment 2, Transmittance. In this assignment we were tasked with implementing a shader for an object that is both transmissive and reflective. So as you can see here, it's reflective. I have it that it's mirroring the cube map that's around, and if I change the bias here, you can see it's refractive, so that's the transmissive element. And I can change the refractive index here to make it more like a diamond or more like air if I go this way. This is kind of watery, and then eventually it'll kind of go to air. It goes invisible. So 1.5 is kind of in and around kind of what glass should look like. So then I can go all the way back up here to reflective again. Another requirement was to include a Fresnel component, so that's the ratio of reflectance to transmittance in an object. So you can see here, if I control this bias, I can control what's going on here. So it's both reflecting the background, and also you can see the refraction of the foreground there. I can change the refractive index still, and I can change the bias to be more refractive than it is reflective, or more reflective than it is refractive. And I've done that on a couple of different models, so you can see it here demonstrated better on the sphere. I've done it on a more complex model here as well, and you can see we've got a very simple cube, so you can see refractive and reflective components to this here. So another task in this assignment was to include chromatic dispersion. So chromatic dispersion occurs when the refractive indices for each of the different light colors is different in a material, so that different light colors are bent differently through a material. So you get kind of those colors coming out differently. So if you see here, I can change the refractive indices for the RGB components for light coming through this model. So if I change the bias to be more refractive index can stay there. If I kind of change these here, you can see these colors start to kind of stay there, and the chromatic dispersion effect is there. And if I change the refractive index, you can see that kind of more evidently there. You can see it popping up at the top of the teapot, and similarly it happens in here. You can see it on the left, and it's kind of on the water and on the outlines of things, similar to how you would want it. So you can just see I have it for kind of more complicated things, but you've got that chromatic dispersion effect occurring there because we've changed how the light colors are refracted through the material. So then again, that's just caused by a difference in the refractive index of the different ones. So you can see if I change them, it kind of changes dramatically, but if I put them all to be the same again, then there's no that chromatic dispersion effect is gone. So it's just a case of changing the refractive index component for each of the different wavelengths. And I've just done it for RGB. In real life it happens for a lot more color wavelengths, but for this it gives a good effect, and it can be used in games, and it's kind of believable. So you can see the outline there as well. So you can see with these models, they're working with the environment, and we've also got in this demonstration a couple of different environments. So you've got an NVIDIA lobby of an office in NVIDIA, so you can change the bias here to be more reflective on all of these components. You can see this doesn't make a difference anymore because it's reflective and it's not refracting anything, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to put them all back to be the same. So you can see the refractive level, so I'm going to put that back to 0.5. With the Fresnel component, you've got a bit of refraction and reflection occurring here. And again, it works for multiple different scenes. Just get this back level. So you've got these scenes here. And again, it's refractive and reflective. So if I change the bias, it reflects. You can see the car in the background, and then it refracts again. And that works for a multitude of different backgrounds. So this is just a kind of a street scene. It works. It's very grey. You can see here in the library kind of scene, it's still working. It's kind of 50-50. Change that back to be reflective. Again in the car scene, and then in the lobby again. So that is my video demonstration. Thanks for watching.